Barack Obama has condemned Donald Trump for the death of Alex Preddy in Minneapolis. He posted on X, "It should be a wake-up call to every American, regardless of party, that many of our core values as a nation are increasingly under assault." This is the same person who earned the title Deporter-in-Chief, and this is what Obama had to say about deportations back in 2013.
I'm the President of the United States. I'm not the Emperor of the United States. My job is to execute laws that are passed. And Congress right now has not changed what I consider to be a broken immigration system. Mm-hmm. And what that means is that we have certain obligations to enforce the laws that are in place, even if we think that in many cases the results may be tragic. There are going to be some stories that break our hearts. And more importantly, we're going to continue to have an economy that is stifled by a really inefficient system where not only are we deporting folks, but we also have a legal immigration system that is so bottlenecked that it forces sometimes people into the illegal system.
That was Obama, the deporter-in-chief, and people forget that he was responsible for deporting millions from the country. And of course, what will make America safer is if illegals are deported.
Well, Bill Clinton back in the 90s talked about the need for strict immigration enforcement. He talked about having to deport people that were here illegally. Barack Obama did, as you pointed out there, numerous times, that it was important to deport people that were here illegally. He talked about the economic interests of the country being served by doing that. And as he just said, legal immigration is a bottleneck, and illegal immigration is a way for people to leapfrog over the people that are doing it the right way and get benefits and being rewarded for breaking our laws. So he even had some deportations under Joe Biden. So this has been going on for decades. But because it's Donald Trump, the left goes crazy, the media goes crazy, the people are not allowing him to implement what he was elected to do. And that just enrages them. I mean, the attitude of some of these protesters is pretty serious and dangerous. These people are filled with rage that I really have not seen in this country in a long time. And I think it's just Donald Trump triggers them. It's Trump derangement syndrome.
And many of them have been encouraged by Democrats. You've heard many Democrats saying that ICE should be abolished, and many people getting very swept up in the chaos, taking to the streets, and in some cases trying to interfere with law enforcement. Now, let's look at the Trump administration's response. It seems now there has been this shift over the fatal in response to the fatal shooting of the weekend. Initially, I don't think they did a very good job. I mean, instantly defending the fatal shooting, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem saying that this protester was committing an act of domestic terrorism. And here's Attorney General Pam Bondi on the news trying to talk tough about this legal letter she sent to Tim Walz. Look at this.
Rape, homicide, manslaughter. That's who they're trying to protect in Minnesota. I do not understand these people. We sent Governor Walz a very strong letter today. We had been working on this letter. We got it out saying that he better support President Trump. He better support the men and women in law enforcement, because if he doesn't, we are. And that's what we're doing right now.
Were there any consequences in this letter?
Well, we'll see. This is fluid. Let's see how Governor Walz responds. Let's see what he does based on this, based on what's happening right now.
We'll see. It's not exactly a message of confidence.
No consequences. I mean, she does a lot of strongly worded letters, but as far as consequences, I mean, there's been criminal behavior going on in Minnesota for weeks now. We haven't seen many consequences. A guy that I interviewed on my program numerous times was almost killed. I don't think there's any consequences for that. A lot of the conservative social media influencers have been there, been attacked, no consequences. So that's the problem with Pam Bondi. A lot of people think that she talks tough on Fox News, but doesn't deliver. Now, Tom Homan, I think, is a guy who delivers and a guy who can maybe try to solve this situation that is so broken. And if the governor is talking to the president, that is a good thing. That's a step in the right direction. The mayor, obviously, is part of the problem as well. He has been absolutely irresponsible in his comments. So there's a lot of blame to go around. But your point about how the initial handling was not good, I think, is on target. They jumped in with some comments that they should have held back on and said, hey, we need to complete our investigation.
Yeah.
We need to see what happened here, because there's a lot of video angles, as you know. There's always different conflicting versions from witnesses. So it's still in the early stages of the investigation.
Yeah, we are. Look, just back on the media. The media of the weekend was exposed for lying about ICE. Media outlets were quick to kind of parrot Democrats who shared image of a 5-year-old boy named Liam Ramos and claimed that he was detained by ICE while coming home from preschool. But according to the White House, officers were actually staying with this child who was abandoned by his father, who was an illegal from Ecuador. ABC News published the headline, 5-year-old asylum seeker detained as ICE expands enforcement in Minnesota. Axios said ICE's detention of child puts new focus on Trump team's tactics. And of course, Homeland Security wrote on X that ICE did not target a child. The child was abandoned. I mean, how damaging is this when you've got the media kind of spinning these stories?
Well, it's like the media is invested in chaos. I mean, it's like the media wants to see what's going on in the streets of Minneapolis expand across the country. That's what it seems to me, that they run with a story that is inaccurate. They do it time and time again to paint the administration in the worst possible light. So much of what they say is just filled with lies. We're constantly trying to correct the media. And my heart goes out to Caroline Leavitt having to deal with these people in the press in her press briefings, because so many of them are just so biased. So it's a continual problem that we face here in this country with the coverage of this administration. I think the administration is trying the best they can in a very difficult situation. We did have some good news over the first year. About 2.5 million people that were here illegally left. But a lot of those people just self-deported on their own. And that's probably the easiest way to deal with this. Yeah. Encourage people, incentivize them to leave on their own.
Finally, I want to get to the fraud scandal in the US. I mean, just how widespread it is coming to light. The president posted over the weekend that it is actually possible that the total amount of money stolen over the years by corrupt politicians and fraudsters from Minnesota will exceed $100 billion. In any event, whether it is or isn't, the theft, incompetence and fraud is massive. Sadly, whatever numbers we find, California and other Democrat-run states will be worse. Stay tuned. $100 billion. Jeff, do you think we're ever going to really know the true extent of the fraud and how widespread it is in other states?
No. I mean, I think we can make estimates. I think we can try to deal with it as best we can. But this has been going on for decades. It's been going on, I think, all over the country. You know, when DOJ came in, when President Trump started, they tried to go after waste, fraud, and abuse, and there was such an outcry. People don't want this solved. And now the administration is seeing it in the states, and hopefully we're going to get a person or a team dedicated in the White House to going after this fraud. Minnesota is horrible, but I think the worst state is California. I think it's going to make what has been going on in Minnesota look like peanuts, because California is such a bigger state, and you've had corrupt officials there for a long time. So this is a real problem. It's one that I think the American people are very outraged about, because, you know, we're $38.5 trillion in debt. We'd be in a much better situation if we didn't have all this fraud going on.
Absolutely. Broadcaster and commentator Jeff Crouere, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks so much.